will get to painting. All right, we're going to paint this sign for somebody. I should have done this last year, actually. Somebody I care about has lost a family member. And so I just wanted to kind of commemorate that by creating a nice door hanger for this person. All right, so this is going to be really simple and fun. It's just going to be 3 colors, possibly a 4th, but we'll get into that later. But it's just going to be red, red, white, and black. And as you guys know, I reuse my paper plates all the time. All right, so this is a door hanger that I bought. Oh, hey, Kayla. So this is a door hanger that I bought, and these pieces right now, these are all 3D pieces. I love it because it really makes it stand out when it's all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to painting the background, then I'm going to paint these pieces, and then once it's all dry, I will glue it on. So we will get going. All right. I know that cardinals are very significant to people when they lose a loved one. Alright, so that's why I'm making this. Alright, so I'm going to set these off to the side for now. Alright, and I'm just going to start with the background because the background's going to take the longest to paint. So I'm just going to use, or to dry, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to use a big paintbrush. Alright, and this paintbrush is just going to, I'm just going to put a whole bunch of white on this background. Alright, and it's okay if it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to get my paintbrush a little bit more wet because when you're painting on wood, it tends to, the paint dries out a little quicker on your wood than it would if it was on canvas. Alright, so I'm going to give it kind of like a fake wood look to it. Alright, but I'm just going to cover the whole thing completely in white. And it doesn't have to be in any special, like in any special direction right now. It can be, right now I'm just trying to cover it with white, so I don't have to go in any one direction with my brush strokes. Alright, once I get, splattering paint everywhere. Once I get this covered with white, that's when I'll focus on my brush strokes a little bit more. If you feel your brush grabbing on the wood a little bit, then just go ahead and dip your paintbrush in the water, and that way it won't catch as much and your paint will be a little bit smoother. Because for some reason it doesn't like to spread smoothly on wood. Alright, so now that I've got pretty much most of it covered, I'm just going to go in back and forth motions because, like I said, I am going to try to give this a wood look. Alright, and I'll touch up the sides of it after I'm done painting it and it's dry. I just want to show you guys this cool design that you can do. So if you ever decide to paint your own door hanger, this would be a good background thing to do, and I'll show you real quick. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live, so I figured I better do one. Sometimes I'm really bad about keeping up on them, but I've been working on some stuff, and I love to show you guys different things and paint different things with you, even if it's virtually. So if you want to do something similar to this design, you definitely need to get some type of a door hanger. So there's a lot of places that you can go. You might even be able to get this from Michael's, something similar to this. I got this online from a wholesale company because I do a lot of different designs. Alright, but right now I'm putting I didn't wash off my brush. I'm putting just the teeniest bit of black on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of pull it through a little bit. I'm going sideways. Alright, we're just going to, you know, we don't need to be super perfect with this because this is literally going to be mostly covered by the background, or not by the background, I'm sorry, by the cardinal and the words that we're going to put on. So I'm just very lightly, with barely any paint, barely any pressure, just going through and doing these little short swipes. Okay, and sometimes it gives it a cool effect when you go in from the side and you swipe it. It'll give you a little bit of that rough wood look to it. So again, I got this effect just from using barely any pressure and barely any paint. But my white paint is still wet when I'm doing it. All right, so for anybody that, I wanted to actually take a minute to talk to everyone, anybody who's watching, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it later on in a replay, or on YouTube or whatever. I wanted to talk to my people and my fellow artists and let them know that, you know, as an artist, it's hard sometimes. We struggle with finding purpose, and you know, because we want to create art, but we feel like we're limited to what we can do. So one of the things I just wanted to say is that's not really the case. You know, you can do a lot with your art, and you know, and I struggled with that for a long time, but it's something that I've overcome, and I'm really happy that I have, because I'm just doing so many different things, and it's really a blast. So I am going to actually set this aside temporarily. Alright, and I'm just going to do that so I can let it dry. I just set it on another table real quick. And now I'm going to paint these little pieces here. Alright, and we can paint them however we want, but when I do it, I'm going to have it set up so it'll say cardinals up here when angels are near. So let's see. I'm going to do the cardinals and the angels in red, and then these letters are going to be in black, and then for my actual cardinal I will paint him red. The branch will be black, and then the cool thing about this is it's already pre-scored, so it's like you can kind of feel where the line is, and so even when I paint over this I'll still be able to see where this is, so that's really awesome. Alright, so I'm just going to start by getting a basic layer of color wherever I'm going to do my red, because I'll probably end up needing to do 2 coats. Whenever you do red, sometimes you need 2 coats. Depends on what kind of red you're using. Alright, so I'm just going to paint this just a basic coat, and it's kind of got a dark finish on the edge, so I'm not going to paint the edges of this because I really like that dark finish. Alright, but I'm just going to go over the whole thing really quickly. Right, and just where the bird is, his legs are going to be black, and so is the wood, the branch there, so I'm not going to do the whole thing red, just his whole body. Okay, and then I'm going to set it aside because I am going to do a second coat on this, because you can see it's a little transparent. And it's looking a little streaky right now, but we'll get a second coat on there and add the details. So I'm just getting some color on here. I love these door hangers. They're so fun to do, especially when they're 3D like this. It gives you a lot of different options, and it makes it nice and easy. Alright, so now I'm going to paint my cardinals and my angels, and these are also, you got to be gentle with these, because as you can see they're very flexible. But these are also darker on the edges, so I'm only going to do the top of these. Not going to do the sides. If I get a little on the sides, that's okay. I'm just doing a very light, gentle coat, because I'm going to eventually add a second coat as well. Because like I said, this red is a little transparent. And probably sometime, maybe sometime this weekend, I'll probably paint something patriotic with you guys in honor of Memorial Day. I should really have some paper down on my table, but I'm so bad at doing that. I never remember to keep my table clean. I'm going to get just a touch more paint for this, and then I'll work on the angels. If ever you guys are watching me and you want to see how to paint something or whatever, feel free to just throw it in the comments. Hey, I'd love to see you paint a beach scene, or hey, I'd love to see you paint this, or maybe if you want to see some of my drawing techniques, because I do love to draw. That's probably what I'm best at. But painting sometimes is a lot more fun. I do love to draw, I really do. But that's a lot more detailed and a lot more tedious than painting. So that's why I do mostly paintings when I do Facebook Lives. Alright, so now we're painting the word angel. Angels. So I just wanted to share with you guys too. I just recently sent out an email to my email list. I have a whole bunch of people on my email list, so they got this info before you did, which is probably not fair. But I wrote up just a little blurb about kind of my story and how I got into my art business and what drove me to it. So I have always been like hugely into art when I was a kid. I loved art. It was my favorite subject in school. And I had the most amazing art teacher in 11th and 12th grade. I give her a lot of credit for developing my talent and encouraging me. But so I've always loved art, but when I was in high school, when I was a senior, I never really thought that it would be something I could do, because I definitely didn't want to be an art teacher. I saw how punkish some kids were, and I did not want to deal with that every day. So I'm going to paint these words black next. So while we're waiting for this to dry, I'll paint those words black, and then we'll go back over the cardinal. But anyways, so when I was in high school, I was creating tons of beautiful pieces of artwork. And I went and graduated, and I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living, because it's kind of, when you love art and you're not really sure that you can do anything with art for a living, it makes it kind of hard. I didn't want to be an art teacher, and I had briefly thought about being a tattoo artist, but there's no eraser to a tattoo. So anyway, so that was kind of a fleeting moment, and I kind of left art in the dust. Kind of sad to admit that, because I can't imagine going. I actually went, like, after I graduated, I went like 9 years without creating any art, which, thinking about that now, is pretty dang sad. Alright, but once my life kind of calmed down a little bit, because I had kids and stuff, and I was looking for something to do one day. I must have been bored, and so I just picked up a pencil and started drawing again. And it was amazing, the way I felt when I drew. You know, I've always loved drawing and creating art, and I can't believe I stopped. So I started drawing, and I don't know why, because I've always had like super bad anxiety, but for some reason I decided to share my artwork online, and I posted it on Facebook, which is definitely outside of anybody that knows me, that really knows me, knows I'm very shy. I'm very much an introvert. I just force myself to kind of be an extrovert and go out there and talk to people. It's really outside of my comfort zone. But anyways, so I did it. I shared it online just to show people, because, you know, sometimes I don't even know what came over me, because I just normally wouldn't have been confident enough to do that. So I shared it, and then oddly enough, like, I got tons of comments, people loved it, and I had some people message me asking me to do custom portraits after that. They're like, can you draw this picture of my kid? can you do this? Can you? So I did a few free portraits, but I'm like, wow, this takes a long time to do for free. So I started charging people, which was really the beginning of where this all started. You know, so I was like, I can make this work, and I can enjoy doing what I love and make money at the same time. So needless to say, that this is, you know, this stuff has helped me overcome fear. I'm going to paint this branch now in his legs. This has helped me to overcome fear, build my confidence, and really just get a handle on my passion and my purpose. Because I realized that God gave me this talent for a reason, and I don't know why I ever stopped creating. So if you are an artist who doubts yourself, I want to encourage you to kind of break out of that and to just create. Whether it's for fun or to make money or whatever it is, whatever your reason for creating is, I want you to do it, because if you love it, you should definitely do it. Even if it's just for self-care. I know so many people that paint just for self-care. Which, you know, it's so funny. We think of self-care as like facials and massages. But they're actually, it's so much more than that. Right. So I'm going to rinse off my brush. And I'm going to go back in with that red. Alright, I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to go back in with that red, and I'm just going to go over all the stuff that I did, and it won't be as, you might not be able to tell on your screen, but you can see it's kind of almost like a pink here, and now it's actually starting to be a lot more of a bold red. And that's what we want, so it'll stand out nice and bright against our background. Yeah, so definitely, I've learned over the last few years, last several years actually, because I started doing art again, and it's been like, I think about 7 years since I started creating again. But definitely I would encourage anybody to do it. It's so important for mental health, even just to do what you love. Okay, so I got my red on that. Oh, Kayla, thank you. I'm so glad that I could help you find that passion for painting. It's really, really important. And as I'm watching my art business develop, I'm starting to realize some more loves and passions of mine, and one of them is that to help artists, and not necessarily gain skill, but to find their love and passion. So, I mean, I didn't go to school for art. So it wasn't like I have this degree and I can say, here, this is how we do this and that, but I can give you some of the skills and techniques and learning how to overcome that fear and build that confidence. And Kayla, she comments on a lot of my videos, and I love Kayla. She's always painting and creating. It's really cool. And I've watched Kayla's art. Kayla, I've watched your art progress for a while now. And it's amazing. Like that one you shared just the other day with just yesterday with the flip-flops. I was like, dang, that's really good. Very realistic. Even my husband said that. He's like, oh my gosh, he almost thought it was a real picture at first. So that's what I love to do, is just help people, because the more you paint, you know, or draw or whatever you love to do, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And I've shared, like, I have this painting group that I shared this with, because my dad is in my painting group, and my dad never thought he would be good at painting or even like it, and now he loves painting. He's always like, when is our next group? When is our next get together? So anyway, so now we've got our red, and it's pretty bold. Alright, so I'm going to go in with some detail on this cardinal, because we gotta wait for, actually I forgot I gotta do more black on these, because that's a little transparent too. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna go over real quick with another coat of black on this, and then some black detail on our bird. So we'll kind of let that dry. All right, it's okay if the branch isn't completely solid black, because it's just a branch, but I'm going to get these letters to be completely solid black. No brush stroke streaks or anything. That's another cool thing about painting on wood, is it dries so quickly. Anyways, if you are creating anything, I would love to see it. I'm always creating something, even if I'm not doing a Facebook Live. I've always got something I'm working on, whether it's a portrait or, you know, a porch leaner or a door hanger or any little thing. Sometimes I just paint on wood slices. I have some other loves too. Like I love to draw with marker, and I even love watercolor. Those things are a little bit more time consuming for me, so that's why I do a lot of my painting on here, like I told you. But if you love to do other stuff, I encourage you to play around with that and to do other stuff too. When I get a little bit better at some of this stuff and can maybe do a quicker tutorial with like drawing or whatever, I can show you maybe little techniques. I was thinking sometime late this summer I might do some type of challenge where everybody could join in and we could all paint together. Alright, so I am going to grab a different brush. Right now I'm going to use my fine liner brush. And I'm going to go in with black. Just right here. So I don't know if you could still see it. Yeah, you can see it. So there you can see the lines where it defines his eyes and the color on his beak, or around his beak I should say. Alright, and we are gonna just trace that right inside the line. And once you do that, then you can't see the lines anymore. Like you can up close and in person, but it really kind of masks that those lines, so nobody even knows that you painted in lines for something. All right, but I'm going to add a little bit more detail, and we're going to do some detail on the wing and on the tail. All right, so I have not reloaded my brush. I've got very little black paint on my brush. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of just do a very light outline for this wing, very light, and just very light details for the feathers. Very little pressure. Whenever you want to do like very light things, so that way, you know, you're not like doing anything too thick or too bold. You just apply very little pressure, very quick and little pressure. So as you can see, I'm doing some really short, quick strokes. All right, and I'm just kind of pulling. And this is just to give it the illusion that there's some shadows in the feathers. I might even do a little bit around here. My brush is kind of dry, which is actually okay, because I can kind of get in some of those details that I might not have been able to get. So like it gives it more of a shadowy look. Because I don't want this bird to look flat, like he's got no dimension to him. I've always liked realism like that. Alright, so I'm just gonna add in just a little bit, just kind of wispy. Just some wispy little lines. Alright. And again, I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm even going to paint up here by his head. Alright, so he's got a little bit of shadow behind. You always want to think about light whenever you're painting anything, when you're doing contrast from light to dark. Think about where the shadows are going to hit. You know, you don't want to, I wouldn't want to put black lines in front of the feathers on his head, because that's most likely where the light's going to hit. So I want to stick with the dark colors and shadows underneath the wing, like underneath the tail here, and around his legs, maybe just a little bit under his belly. Not a lot, because we're just trying to get some detail on this. Oops, that's too much. If ever you get too much, you could try to wipe it off with your finger or a baby wipe. Baby wipes are amazing if you get too much color on anything. You just use it to wipe it right off. Baby wipes are actually pretty amazing for painting. They can really actually create some cool different techniques. So if you like to paint, I recommend getting some baby wipes, and I will maybe show you some techniques with that another time. Alright, let's see. Alright, so now you can see I've got the detail. Let me pull it up close so you can see. Kind of hard to see when that light was really bright on it, but that's what I've got for the detail right now. And I will add a little white dot for his eye. Okay. I'm going to rinse off my brush so I can get that white dot in there, and then we will check to see if our background is dry yet. Alright, so I'm just going to put, there we go. See, nothing crazy. You know, even if you were to paint a cardinal on a canvas or something, or a piece of paper, you know, you might say, well, I'm not really good at drawing proportions and the shapes. Just so you know, it is okay. People, I know I hear it a lot, it's taboo to trace, but in the art world, it depends on what you're doing. If you're looking to just do a basic silhouette of something, it's okay to trace it out. So sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes I will trace a basic shape on something. Like I just did a patriotic door hanger yesterday, and at the very end I was like, it's missing something, and my son said, oh, you should paint an eagle on the bottom. Well, it was just a basic eagle silhouette, so I traced the outline, I printed off a picture, traced an outline on the bottom of my door hanger, and then I just filled it in with all black and some gold highlights, and it just added a nice touch. But even if you were going to do something more detailed, that's okay too, because the talent is what you put in the details, not whether or not you're tracing. Alright, so I'm just going to move these out of the way so that way I can get my door hanger back in this circle here. And it is almost completely dry, which is awesome. So I want to make sure that the lines are all going in the right direction. I don't want it to be crooked. I definitely want to make it look like wood, so I'm going to make sure it's lined up correctly when I put all those pieces on. I am going to use super glue. So I have like a little thing of super glue I will be using to put my pieces on. But I want to make sure that they're actually going to stay. So I have to make sure this paint is dry. So I am going to use my blow dryer for just a second, just to double check. It's pretty dry, but I just want to make sure. And you just want to be careful too, because like my hands, they always get super dirty with paint. You don't want to touch, like I wouldn't want to touch this on the top with wet paint on my hands. So just be careful whenever you're making anything that you're actually got clean hands. I mean, like I said, if not, and you do accidentally get some other paint on there, that's okay too. Just go in with a baby wipe. Just go in with a baby wipe and wipe it right off. If it doesn't come completely off, you can always paint over it. But with a baby wipe, it's mostly going to come off if it's still wet. Alright, so I'm going to line this up where I want it. Let's see. So cardinals appear. Let's see, cardinals appear when angels are near. Look at how cute that looks. So I'm gonna super glue this. I'm not gonna make you wait around while I super glue it, although it only takes literally seconds. But whenever you're super gluing, just be careful. So like I wouldn't want to keep my pieces off to the side and then super glue them on one at a time. I want to keep it like this. And what I would do is I would just, I would super glue them while, you know, like one at a time while everything else is set up. And I don't need, super glue is super strong, so you don't need a lot, but you do want to work quick and make sure that you have everything on. So because it sticks really quick, just make sure you get it in place. All right, and that way you've got your proportion and everything set up in the right spots. Like if I was to put this on one at a time, maybe I accidentally put something on and I don't leave room for another word or the bird or something like that. I don't ever want to not have room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys go, but I am going to glue these all on and I'm going to drill holes right here, and I'm going to use some jute twine. Let me just show you what jute twine is. Alright, so this is jute twine, alright, and it's really cool because I like it's got a nice rustic look to go and match this this fake wood look that we got going on. But I'm just going to put that jute twine up at the top for it to hang on somebody's door. Alright, so I am going to go on and I'll take another picture when it's all done, but I'm going to go and glue this. So if you paint a cardinal or anything, I'd love to see your finished work. Please share with me. And thank you so much for watching me paint. And if you have any recommendations, feel free to recommend. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. And if you're on Facebook, consider giving me a like or a follow. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.